The one and only Local 10 News starts right now.
And right now at noon, Governor DeSantis signing a controversial elections bill into law today that he says will prevent fraud.
This is despite no signs of voter irregularities in the November presidential election. And we have team coverage on this new law. Local 10 News reporter Annalise Garcia is live in West Palm Beach where the governor signed it.
And Local 10 senior political reporter Michael Putney is in our newsroom with the opposition to the measure. Let's start things off, though, with Annalise.
Christy, Alexis, the governor sat right here at this table behind me and signed this bill into a law that mostly changes mail-in voting. Now, the local media stations were not allowed inside this room. A representative from the governor's office told us that this was a Fox exclusive, so that was the only camera inside here at the time. Now, this was a ticketed event as well. This is a ticket right here. There are hundreds of chairs around me that were filled with the governor's supporters.
So right now I have what we think is the strongest election integrity measures in the country. I'm actually going to sign it right here. It's going to take effect. So there you go. Bill is signed.
Governor Ron DeSantis signs the elections bill into a law Thursday morning in West Palm Beach. The new law will mostly change the way Florida's mail-in voting works.
We're making sure we're enforcing voter ID. Look, you have to show a picture ID to do all these other things in society, clearly voting.
There will also be several changes to drop boxes for ballots.
But they need to be monitored. You can't just leave these boxes out where there's no supervision, where they're in all hours of the night. So the drop boxes will be available only when they're monitored and during regular voting hours.
The drop boxes will have to be at a permanent location, open at certain hours, and be staffed by an employee from the election supervisor's office. For some counties, like Miami-Dade, for example, most of these things were already being implemented.
I think all the governors should be doing following his lead.
We are very much in line with his thoughts and feelings for the Floridians.
Hundreds of people began lining up around 6:30 a.m. to come watch the governor sign the bill. This was a ticketed event. Now, overall, this new law is not preventing anybody from voting. It's just changing the way mail-in ballots work. Now, the governor is moving fast today. He went straight from West Palm Beach to Panama City for a press conference where he discussed what happened here today. Take a listen.
So we did a wonderful bill signing for this great elections bill, and it was live on national television on Fox and Friends, and we were happy to give them the exclusive on that, and I think it went really, really well. But that's broadcast to millions of people, not just obviously throughout the whole country, but a huge number of people in Florida are watching that. We had a crowd. We probably had 1,000 people in the crowd that were really cheering on. So it was an exciting day to be able to do that, and it's the first bill signing I've ever done live on a national broadcast. And so
now, we will have all this information for you on our website. Just head to local10.com. For now, I'm live in West Palm Beach. Annalise Garcia, Local 10 News.
All right, Annalise, thank you for that. Now, our team coverage turns to Local 10 senior political reporter Michael Putney.
He is in the newsroom with reaction from opponents of the bill who call it voter suppression. Michael?
Not just voter suppression, but a flagrant attempt to make it much harder to vote by mail in Florida. Reaction to this bill signing was swift and angry. Election supervisors around the state are calling it unnecessary, and the state secretary of agriculture is calling it a solution in search of a problem.
Where was the reason for this piece of legislation? The only fraud that I saw was by the Republicans. But yet, we needed this piece of legislation, and he needed to take the state plane and fly down to Mar-a-Lago in front of Trump supporters to sign this piece of legislation, because we know that the only reason why this piece of legislation was passed and signed was for one person.
Freed and others blasted the governor for signing the bill live on Fox News and excluding other media from that signing ceremony. Opponents also are upset the Governor DeSantis held the ceremony in front of a pro-Trump group called Club 45 USA. Donald Trump was, of course, the 45th president. And after the election, he made wild and false claims of voter fraud. Mr. Trump won Florida easily last November. There were no accusations of voter fraud in the Sunshine State. The NAACP Legal Defense Fund filed a lawsuit this morning and said the voting bill, quote, creates barriers and burdens that impact all Florida voters and disproportionately impacts the ability of Black voters, Latino voters, and voters with disabilities to cast their ballot. The League of United Latin American Citizens, LULAC, also issued a statement saying voter suppression aimed at American citizens just because they are brown or Black is disgraceful, un-American, and frankly unprincipled. And in Tallahassee this morning, the League of Women Voters of Florida filed a lawsuit calling into question the constitutionality of this new law. We should also note, of course, there are untold number of Trump supporters who like and support this new law. It goes into effect July 1st. In the newsroom, Michael Putney, Local 10 News.